the person who walks into the room and says, I am here to learn and to serve. Those are the people who actually now rise to the top because they understand that the power of humility. And sometimes we forget about that. But I was interested in that when you mentioned that just a second ago.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yes. So just in this week, I've had clients on two ends of the spectrum as I've been doing 360 interviews. So not just my opinion. I mean, this is what folks are telling me.
Yeah.
So I've got one leader, they say he comes in, he's a little too brash. And brash for them is he's so buttoned up and he's got like his talking points so down that it doesn't leave any room for conversation, and he's not being seen as humble. It seems like he's just he's not inviting people in. He's just going, here's where we're going. That's not his intention. He's trying to share with people his thinking, but it's being seen as not humble. On the other end, I've got someone who's super confident. And they're like, this guy, in all of our organization, he's one of the few guys, you want something done, he'll do it. But he walks into a room, he's so humble, he's so quiet, he's so self-deprecating that we don't even see him. I think his title's director. We don't even see him as he doesn't even feel like one of the rest of the directors. He feels like a manager or supervisor. It's almost too much humility because there's no it's almost like he's too gooey in the middle, too wishy-washy. Like he's so laid back that he's riding in the back seat.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we have an answer to this, my friend, but it feels like don't go to either side of the pole. Like try and find something in the middle that balances the best of both those worlds. Some level of confident and humble is the right path forward. That's what I'm hearing in our conversation.
No, I love that. Somewhere in the middle, and that's a good place to be. I got one other one that was triggered again by something you said, which is if you're working on executive presence and you're trying to be a better leader and a more effective leader, your number one job is to get inside the mind of your employees, understand what motivates them, what drives them, so that you can fulfill that through your business. So I had true story. I had a friend who was interviewing at Accenture, the consultancy, and he goes in for the job interview and the person says, what do you want to be doing in 5 years? And my friend thought, well, I can give the normal answer. I want to help transform this office, or I want your job, or whatever, those sort of trite and pat answers are in job interviews. And he thought, no, you know what? I'm going to just be honest with the guy. So the guy said, what do you want to be doing in 5 years? And my friend said, truthfully, I want to be retired in Mallorca. And here's what the person interviewing him said. Great, let's make that happen. Which is brilliant, because what it was saying, if that's your goal, awesome, we're going to make it happen for you here at Accenture. We're going to put you on a 5-year trajectory so you can get out in 5 years and go retire in Mallorca. And guess what? True story. 3 months ago, we got an email from him. He said, we're moving to Mallorca.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was a great way to say, as a leader, it's your job to get inside the mind of your employees, understand what's motivating them and what's driving them, and then use that motivation for the benefit of the company as well as for the employee. And that's what this person at Accenture did was, hey, we'll make that happen. Let's put you on a 5-year plan, and we're going to get you out of here in 5 years, and you're going to go retire in Mallorca. And he did, with his lovely wife. So they're over there right now.
So the spirit of this interview and conversation here today, Jamie, is going to be like, you say something and I'm like, well, that sparks something for me. And then I'm going to say something, you're going to be like, well, that sparks something for me. So you were saying that, and it reminds me of all the years when I was teaching full-time MBA students, evening MBA students on the topic of feedback. And I would ask them questions like, well, tell me about a time when you got meaningful feedback. Okay, how was it delivered? What made it meaningful to you?
Yeah.
And consistently, and so these are folks in the room that have had all different kinds of work experience, working in restaurants where the feedback is immediate and it's not necessarily pleasant when it's delivered. Military, it's immediate, not necessarily pleasant when it's delivered. And consistently they said, it really actually didn't really matter to me so much on how the feedback was delivered. If I knew the person giving me the feedback had my best intentions at heart.
Love it.
If they were doing it because they cared about me and wanted to see me get better, then I didn't really care if they were dropping F-bombs and saying, what is this? But on the flip side, it could be the most polished message in the world. But if I felt like the person really was just playing politics, or it's really all about them and has nothing to do with me, the feedback was meaningless.
I love that.
Interesting. I mean, interesting because we talk so much about polished communication, and you and I both believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
But intention is what I took away from your last comment. If you got to, and people feel that, they can tell when someone really legitimately is interested in them and cares about them and trying to honor their goals.
Yeah.
That's a feeling that we would want others to feel around us if we're leaders.